be here. Thanks for having me.
Boy, what a bright, great-looking outfit.
Well, you know, this is in celebration of the jalapeno pepper.
Is that it?
I know that's a little strange, but that's part of my recipe, this cornbread.
I know nothing about cornbread, but all of a sudden I started to see these peppers, and you're going to teach us a lot about this.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, though, let's talk about the new season of Rolonda. What's different?
Gosh, we're so excited. Well, first of all, we have a new set. Beautiful set. I mean, I'm thinking about moving in myself.
Really?
We have new music by David Foster, who's a 14-time Grammy Award winner, who did The Bodyguard and has worked with Michael Jackson and Barbra Streisand. So we've got some funky music there. And we have a whole new attitude about what we're doing. We did some things last season that really worked for us, like going out into the field, going live, doing some shows. You know, I come from a news background, so
right. I
can't be in a studio when the big stories hit. So we're taking the show on the road and doing some really good news magazine type shows.
We
So
look forward to that.
excited.
Did you get a chance to meet David Foster?
no, I haven't met him yet.
He's a neighbor of mine, and to show you what a great guy he is, there was a new school opening around the corner, and they called David, and David did the music. He sang the national anthem. We did a little thing together, and he's very involved with the community as well.
Yeah.
So it's nice to hear that you got his talent helping your show out as well.
Yeah.
And tell me how your show differs from all the others that are out there currently. How would you separate it?
I think, first of all, the personality is what really separates the shows. And I think the experience that personality brings to the table. Namely, I come from a long background of beating the pavement, mainly here in New York City, covering news. And I think that is a real strong plus for me. That makes my background very different. And I think that's the major thing that makes the shows different. The experience and the personality of the person who the show's named after brings to the table.
Great. Well, now you have something special we're going to talk about, and that's this book. And where can we get this? And tell me a little bit about the history.
This is a really neat book. Dr. Dorothy Height, who's the president of the National Council of Negro Women, I was so honored when she called me and asked me to do this. Some of the best lessons, I think, especially in a young girl's life, come from Mama's kitchen. That's where I said those, you can read what I said right here, and I'm going to tell you.
Where is it?
Right
there
here.
We go.
I said, many of the most important talks of my life took place in Mama's kitchen. That's where her strong hands would chop and snap and rinse and stir, and where her strong voice was heard over the simmer of a family stew. And the story that goes on, I don't want to read the whole thing to you, but
Great memories, though.
Yeah, but great memories and some of life's lessons. I remember my mother told me in the kitchen, that was the time she broke the news to me that I couldn't be a cheerleader. She said, you want to bounce on the field, you get in the game. And I used to say, get in the game. She said the word is get, G-E-T, not get, get. Because one day you might want to get a job.
Oh, my.
And so,
well, your mom's a doctor of education?
Doctor of Educational Administration. And both my mom and dad, Thelma and Sonny, hi Mom, hi Dad, are down in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And cheering us on up here.
Well, besides being such a great parent, she taught you how to cook, so let's talk about cornbread.
Let's talk about the cornbread. One of the things being a Southerner, and I have to tell you this, it's really strange about recipes being a Southerner because you cook by what you feel. I mean, you put enough in there till it looks right, until it stands like this, or it's the color of that. So I'm going to just kind of like go by it, and we'll try to get you some fancy cornbread here. Now, this stuff is great, like if you have chili, or you're doing something like catfish, or something where you need a little punch in your cornbread.
Okay.
So we're going to add that jalapeno.
Do you measure?
See, that's the thing. I rarely measure with anything. Now, we'll try to measure for those of you who are real sticklers on measuring. We'll get you some measurements, but for the sake of this, let me tell you how I do it.
Okay.
You take a box of Jiffy cornbread, right? You pour it in. That's it. You crack it, and see, Jiffy's very inexpensive too. So this is a quick, inexpensive meal. You put a couple of eggs in there, because when this thing comes out, it's going to taste like cake. You add about, that's 2 eggs there, that I could measure.
Okay.
You add, I think, about 1/4 cup of oil, and that's going to help everything stick together and have that really moist taste. And here's a real secret.
This is it, sour cream, huh?
Sour cream. Now, how Mom came up with this, I don't know, but it sure adds to the creaminess, the creamy texture. Down south, texture is so important to us. It's got to have a creamy inside and a crunchy outside. And that's the sign of a real good Southern cook. Now, I'm the messiest cook in the world.
I've noticed that.
As you'll see.
In doing this show, women are a lot sloppier.
In fact, my mother would, I'll never forget the time I pulled one of those blenders out of a chocolate cake and chocolate went all over the... So I wasn't allowed in the kitchen a lot, but it was awful fun.
Corn.
This is creamed corn. And you add about I'd say about a cup, half a cup, about a cup of creamed corn. I just say add enough till it looks right. And that's going to add some wonderful texture once again. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. I'm the neat guy here.
Neat guy. Now you stir this around a bit. And you know the whisk always helps get some of the lumps out, so I'm going to switch over.
Okay.
Adding more dishes, right?
Why not?
There's something my mother's out there going, God, she's got to have a dishwasher. Okay, and you just mix this around.
And when do we add, now is this, what is this, is this Tabasco?
Yeah, that's just a little chili pepper sauce. Now if your parents are from the islands, maybe you might use an island kind of pepper sauce, or if you're from the West, you might use a Tabasco. Whatever you have in your kitchen that gives a little punch, you throw that in there because it's going to give it a pretty color too. And then of course you add your jalapenos. Now, you know, different families like different, you know, different amounts of spice.
Right.
So you really have to go on what your family likes. And you stir that right in. And see, if you were coming to my house, I'd have a whole lot more jalapenos in there.
Would you really? You really like the hot stuff?
I like the hot stuff.
Do you like to go to New Orleans and they have all the jambalaya and all the really hot?
Absolutely. And you just mix it till it's all mixed together there.
What kind of consistency? Just till it's all blended?
Just till it's all blended, till you get all those eggs mixed in there. And then
just pour it in our pan.
Now you gotta.
Oh, I gotta do this?
Do a little of that.
Okay. So shake well and.
Shake well and get those corners now.
Get the corners?
You don't want the cornbread sticking in the corner.
All
there
right.
you go. And
put this over here.
You just pour it in.
And the oven should be at what temperature?
400 degrees.
Wow, that's
And
hot.
check the back of the Jiffy box, see if you really get confused.
I've noticed when you've done this recipe, you kind of have a whole sort of different accent. You know, you
Well,
become very
it
North
takes
Carolina.
me home.
Huh?
It takes me home. I guess that's what happens.
Never heard you talk like that on your show.
Yeah, oh
Rolonda.
yes you do.
Not often.
We don't get to cook that much on my show, but you know, I might think of a new segment.
Why not?
There you go. And and I'm pounding it like this
Because?
because you get all the air bubbles out. See those little bubbles
Yes,
pop in there?
and it just popped up right on the outfit there too, didn't it?
There we go.
Okay, so we put that in the oven at 400 degrees.
400 degrees.
And
For a good
assuming
40
we have done
minutes.
that,
About
we
40
now
minutes.
have a finished product
And
right
this
over
is what
here.
it comes out.
And
Now, you got to have that golden brown business happening here.
Okay.
Because it's crunchy all around the outside. And what's also fun, wait a minute, before you do that, when you serve it, now you got to have it looking good. Take you a jalapeno.
I think I got a plate down here. We're going to dress it up.
And just make it fancy. You know, when you're serving, you can sprinkle a little paprika on top of it and give it that red flavor. Or just take a jalapeno
Very
and do
nice.
something like that. And just put it right on top.
I can smell the heat.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can just sprinkle some paprika and give that pretty look on there.
That's great.
Okay?
Can I try it?
Absolutely.
All righty. First of all, I want to...
I think I'll have some too.
Well, guess I'll get
you can't be on a diet with this stuff, folks.
Really? Is it
No.
really... Somebody didn't use enough.
Be careful with that knife.
There you go.
There you go.
Give that a shot. And let me take it about. See, it's still warm, which is great. That's the way to do it. Here we go,
Cheers.
folks. Cheers to you. It is like cake.
Takes me home.
I've never had it with a consistency quite like this.
Because it's like a pudding. It's like a corn pudding held in a big golden crust.
Rolonda, a woman of many talents. Now grab some paper and a pencil because the recipe is coming right up. And of course, all this will be in the newsletter. Stick around for not only her new season coming up, or actually we're into it, but more of our home right after we do this. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, wouldn't have missed it. And when you